ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another episode. Yeah, I might as well start it straight right in the gut, right from the gut. We're gonna do it like this. This is the Iconics podcast where we talk about a whole bunch of stuff. But today, right now, we're gonna talk about Moondragon. Moondragon. Who's that? You'll find out.
Roll the credits. Roll the credits. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into the Iconics podcast. Once again, this is Barry 3D from the Iconics podcast, and on my side, as always, is the one and only
Rod C.
And we are going to talk about Moondragon from Marvel Comics. You're going to say Moon what? No, Moondragon. You're going to say Dragon who? Dragon Lady? No. Maybe that's another character altogether. But we're going to talk about Moondragon. But before we dive into that, remember a couple of things, right? One, you can check me out at barry3d.com. That is my webpage, and you can find out where I'm going to be at when I'm performing my stand-up comedy. I got a couple of dates that are coming up, so please make sure to check out that and come out, show your support, have some love, show some love, and have some laughs. There we go. Yeah. My mind is bleh. We were talking about AI before. Yeah, right. We have some jokes with that. Rod, where can we find you?
You know what? You can find me, as I say, on the World Wide Web of the world of Instagram at Mr. Rod C. That's MRRODC. From there, you'll find me every place else. Listen, I'm all over the place. A lot of stuff is happening. 2026. Stay tuned. Stay connected. Make sure you hit that follow button. Stay tuned. Let's go.
All right. We're gonna shout out our boy Larry Reclazato. Larry, you can find him on obscure, underrated, and unknown comic characters. I know I think I screwed the name, but you see it here. And that's his page on Facebook. So he's got that. He's got multiple other ones. So please respect the rules, join, have a good time with that. And it's also a lot of characters we talk about there. And also want to shout out Larry for doing the shorts for us for our channel. So thank you so much, Larry. We'll see you in the next one. That's for sure. Now, that being said, we got to call out new template, new look, same designer. And who that is? The one and only
Jaybird Digital Art.
Mr. Jason Reese, Jaybird Digital Arts. If you need any graphic work done, you got to go to him and let him know that you need something, be it if it's going to be digital or even as a physical media. And also, if you mentioned that you heard about him on the Iconist podcast, he will give you a discount on the work. Okay. All right. Now, also, we have a Patreon page, so please go and check out that Patreon page. We're adding more to it, and it helps the channel grow. And on top of it, we have a coffee page if you want to do a one-time donation. That is also appreciated. Thank you so much. And to all the people that have been on this journey with us with this podcast and how we were growing and going, let us know what you want to hear. If there's a character you want us to talk about, drop it in the comments, send us something. You can reach us. We have media all over the place from as I said, the two pages we mentioned, of course, with X or Twitter, however you want to refer to it, along with Instagram. Oh, okay. Perfect. Or you can reach out to me and Rod individually on our site there and just shoot us a message saying, hey, we want to hear about this. Awesome. But today we are talking about, as I said, Moondragon. So Moondragon is a character that's in the Marvel universe, and she's so close, and yet so far. I know I'm just making jokes because I like how he says that. Don't nothing political. Okay, thank you. All right. So we're gonna go back to a couple of quick points. So your question is, who is Moondragon? So Moondragon, you would see her. I got the picture up. She is, I don't know, I guess mixed between telepath and Shaolin monk. Okay, right? And she's made her appearance, and she's shown up in Marvel, in the cartoons. Sometimes she's in the background, she's in the video games, and I think this is a character. If they're going with a new direction within Marvel, I think that they could turn around and bring this character to life. That's for sure. And I wanted to do something a little bit different today. So let me just go and you know pull up my good old notes because sometimes the gray memory doesn't go. So Moondragon made her very first appearance. Now she has two roles. She started off as a villain and then became a hero. And you'll see why. So she made her very first appearance in Iron Man issue number 54 back in 1972. And the creators were Bill Everett, Mike Friedrich, and George Tuska. So they were the three people behind bringing this character to life. So that was her first appearance. And she came down trying to find out who was the better person. And she used her mental powers at the time to cause a fight between Iron Man and Namor. and whoever was going to win, she wanted to study their techniques and so forth. Right now, as the hero, as Moondragon, she comes back and she made her debut in Daredevil issue number 105 in 1973. And she identifies as Earth's protector. So that's where she came back in. So she's got like two origins, one as a villain and then one as a hero. Now, why did I say that she was so close to the Marvel universe and yet so far is because the character, timeline wise for the character, her name was Heather Douglas. So Heather Douglas was in the car with her father, and her father's name was Arthur Douglas. And during this time, there was an accident. So, back in the 1950s in the Nevada desert, Mojave, yeah, Nevada desert, what was happening? It was like her with her dad, along with her mom. And her dad was a real estate agent at the time, minding their own business. Everything was going good. And then a spaceship came to Earth and he was on a secret mission. But it was the very first time he was doing that. He was a very junior at this point. And then he saw the car, they saw the spaceship, and he decided at this moment, got to get rid of them. No witnesses. So shot them and left them for dead and flew off. The pilot of the spaceship was the one and only Thanos. Yes, that Thanos from the Marvel Universe, Mr. Does the snap. He's got the Infinity Gems, multiple storylines with Thanos, Marvel's version of Darkseid. Okay, got it. So he took off. Now, Heather, at the time was she was left for dead, but she actually survived that that attack. And she was young. She must maybe like 10 years old or something like that. She was a very young girl, if not a little bit younger. Crawls out the car, he survives. Their parents are gone. Monitoring this is Thanos' dad, Mentor. So Mentor comes down, says, "Oh, it's a shame what my son did. To make amends, feeling guilty, I'm going to save this girl because he knew how his son was being." And he brings her back to Saturn, one of the moons there, Titan, where the rest of the Eternals are living. And he turns around and he puts her into one of their Shaolin, like a temple kind of thing. Like literally, it's really very Asian influence
Right.
to raise her. So she's a traumatized child. You put her in this situation. So she's lost her parents, taken from Earth to outer space to another planet, and then say, "Hey, you guys raise her." Instead of kind of giving her any kind of psychological help at this point, they just put her in a situation where it's devoid of emotion and just say, "Well, train her, make her tough, make her, help her live. This is what we're gonna do." Mentor, you could have been more of a father. I mean, you're the father of Thanos, and you're also the father of Eros, right? Who, also AKA Star Fox,
Right.
who you see show up at the very end of the Eternals movie, played by Harry Styles from One Direction. Okay, could have been a little bit our understanding, but there's where we're at now. Why I say that Arthur, her father, is so close, because the tie into this is when Arthur's soul was preparing to leave to go into the afterlife. It also gets intercepted by a mentor, and he's like, "Man, my son did you dirty. I'm going to give you another chance. We're going to take your soul and we're going to put it into a body." And it's a manufactured body. The body is green, it's big, it's got powers, it's strength, it can fly, and the name of this body and his new name going forward is Drax. Yes,
Destroy.
that Drax, different look, different power set, same one played by Dave Batista in Guardians of the Galaxy. All right. Now, Drax has gone through three different versions. We're talking about Drax version one. What we see in Guardians of the Galaxy is version 3 of Drax, where he's not as physically big. He goes around with the knives, but the original Drax was a lot more physically intimidating. It was Drax the Destroyer, literally. He can shoot energy beams and all that. Maybe we'll cover Drax one day, but this is where this character comes into the Marvel universe and her creation. So what was different from her look for me was the character was bald. You
Yeah.
know, bald woman. Oh, okay. And she learned mental powers. So it wasn't say she was a mutant, but they brought her to the peak of human conditioning. So, she had mental powers that came along. She was trained as pretty much a martial artist. She reminded me of the girl there from Vizier, from Star Trek, the motion picture, the
Oh,
actress that played.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes, 100%, 100%. You know what? That's a good way. It's around the same, well, not the same time frame. Like this would have came out first, so maybe they use this as reference for leisure. Hmm.
Live long and prosper. So my whole point is like I don't know if that really did influence the character or not, but what really stood out it was because of at the time you weren't seeing many bald women
Correct.
in comics at the time, right? Like they were always so it was a bold direction that they to me that they did with the character. So that was it. So I mean, and you know, and there was like I think there was more to it at that point, right? So I know they were looking to her as the celestial mother who was supposed to it was prophesized that she might have been the celestial mother to give birth to a Jesus-like being that was supposed to bring in a new age prosperity in the universe. And it was
Mhm.
down to her and Mantis, who once again came in Guardians of the Galaxy, who always hung out with Drax, that Drax would tease in the movies in the MCU. Oh, okay, okay.
Interest.
So close,
Yeah.
so close, so close.
So
Yeah,
close.
yeah, so far. All right. So it was there we go. So Rod, what was your take on this character?
So, I mean, the character was unique. And I always say that, but I like to find things that's different. So, in regards to the I'm not trying to say the abduction, but the parental moving process sounding just like Star-Lord, where, an alien came in and said, you know what? Someone did you bad. We're sorry. You know what? We're just gonna take you from your place of birth, your planet, and we're just gonna plop you someplace else. So, like you said earlier, it's funny you're saying that. I mean, it's like, what kind of trauma was this child going through? Be like saying, um, this is different. Where am I? Because again, mentor wasn't a small person. You know what I mean? So right off the bat, like, you're huge. I'll come with you. What about my parents? Don't look into the smoke, baby. Don't look this way. Don't look back there. Just don't look. Come with me. Come with me. I'll just take you someplace. And then again, like just like, hey, how you doing? Mentor, how you doing? I'm good. I'm good. What's you saying? Just in the neighborhood. Listen, I need to be solid, right? Listen, Thanos was being Thanos again. I got to go take care of this boy. He's getting me vexed, but I'm trying to give him some rope. I'm giving him some length, and this boy is just getting me vexed. He keeps doing foolishness. He keeps dropping the ball. Listen, fortunately, one of his latest episodes is let's just say he just did something foolish. So right now, this is a survivor. I need you guys. Can you guys just take care of her? I'll come and check. I'll come back. I'll come back, and I'm just trying to figure out some stuff. Just give it for a couple of days, and I'll be back. Mentor never to be seen again. I'm joking. But that is just hilarious in that regard that this guy will come and do that, and then you say, "Well, the kid's here. What are we gonna do with him?" All right, you know what? Hey, you're about the same age. Okay, go work. Go over there. Go with those boys over there. Go with those kids over there. Start practicing techniques and all that kind of stuff. But
Absolutely. And that's what I say. So it was the Shaolin Monastery on Titan, right? And
yeah,
she was raised by the priest of Kama at the Shaolin Monastery. So through
yeah,
rigorous mental and physical discipline, she unlocked her latent psychic potential, eventually becoming a world-class athlete and genius scientist. So that kid went to a hardcore boarding school. Now,
100%.
if you say that doesn't make sense, Barry, of course, if you look at the Chinese Peking school back in the day, if you don't know, you're about to learn today, right? This is not a thing. This is true on Earth, okay? And you know who graduated from that school? Jet Li, Jackie Chan. I even believe Bruce Lee. They all went to this performing school, and it was a school that they would send the kids, and his kids would learn basic high school or elementary high school, but they would also teach your kids acrobatics, martial arts,
Yeah.
and to carry on those traditions. So Without that, let me go down a rabbit hole for half a second.
Let's go.
Were they trying to make super spies over there? You always hear about the Red Room, the Russian Red Room, or the Russian Tea Room. Okay, and they were making spies back then. Look at Jackie Chan, and look what he can do. Look at Jet Li. Look at what he can do. Now I know some of it you're gonna say, Barry, but that's movies. That's movie magic. Yes, but he can still throw a kick like he can throw a kick. Can you
Thank
kick
you.
like? Can you bust on two backflips, bust a guy in the head, and then run up a wall?
All
Even
right.
if you, I couldn't do that.
Listen,
I
listen,
wish.
listen. We've seen enough, kung fu, movies and flicks, as folks would say.
Shaolin versus
And
Dragon. Sorry, Shaolin versus Ninja.
listen, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but you see that sometimes they go through their rigorous training of, to excel. To me, are they trying to make Red Room agents?
I don't know. I'm just right,
But
but I have to
I'm
admit
just saying, they're just, but you want to make sure that we are at peak form. We will never be defeated. How do I
that's
know?
right.
We produce excellence upon excellence. You guys are over there, guys over there, but over here on this mountain, in this temple, best of the best. Started to sound
Best of the
like
best.
MIB, man, MIB, because you wanted the best of the best, sir. That's right. That's what we're doing. So
Gosh,
yeah,
man. That,
I'm just
even
saying.
best of the best. That was an Eric Roberts movie, right? Martial arts. Okay. Um, yeah. That's why I had to go. Wow. I know you were saying it as a phrase,
Oh
but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And once again, if you watch any of those Shaolin movies, pretty much all the performers are from that school. So like one of my favorites is the 10 Tigers of Shaolin and Shaolin versus Lama. What? Wicked. Wicked. And of course, Ninja, Shaolin versus Ninja, because that's where you get that crab walking ninja. And if you look at it close enough and you put music behind it, that's the MC Hammer typewriter dance. Now you know. Okay. Okay. All right then. So now the thing is, she's unlocked that. So maybe she would have been a mutant per se because she unlocked those latent powers.
Yeah.
How they would have classified the character, right? Moondragon. But then, of course, how does she even get stronger? Is because one time she's in a meditative state. She's, doing her aum or wusa, whatever she's doing. And she was approached by the Dragon of the Moon, right? This was a cosmic entity known as the Dragon of the Moon. And she got into a psychic combat with this dragon. And in her arrogance, she believed she had defeated the beast. So she thought, oh, wow, I beat it. Sorry, you're not Iron Fist. You did not defeat that dragon. What really happened is a portion of its essence seeped into her mind, and that encounter fueled her infamous superiority complex, and inspired her to take the name Moondragon. So before she even had the official name, this is why she got the name. Right? She thought she beat the monster, the dragon. Nope. And then the dragon's like, "Oh, take my name." Oh yeah, yeah. And she was influenced by outside sources unbeknownst to her. So she doesn't know that her dad is Drax at this point. She doesn't
Right.
know that she kind of didn't win the battle. Not every win is a full out victory. She thought it was a victory. This one played the long game and carried on. So she was very arrogant in her character, which made her hard to approach. Like
Mm-hmm.
picture her ego was on a whole other level. Like her ego would have fit into like a wrestling persona, AEW, WWE, because she's gonna walk down there and play that bad guy, and everyone's gonna want to wrestle her or for the championship belt. But so that's how I see it coming across. Now, she was, seen as the celestial Madonna. That's what I was looking for. And she was one of them, along with Mantis, to give birth to this child. It ended up being Mantis with the spirit, reincarnated spirit of swordsman.
Hmm.
And you're gonna say, Barry, do you mean swordsman that shows up in Daredevil and showed up in the Hawkeye series? And the answer is yes. 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 In the MCU, it's the same character. He's supposed to pass away, be reincarnated, his spirit gets attached to this kind of plant being, so he looks like a plant, and he marries Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's just to put it in your context for anyone who hasn't read the books but have watched the movies and the TV shows and want to see how it all intertwines. So Moondragon was one of two of the celestial Madonnas to give birth to this, supposedly supposed to give birth to this character. So now she's had her adventures. She's shown up and you've seen her with various people in the Marvel universe, be it if she's fighting them, she's teamed up with them, be it if it's the Avengers, Defenders, so forth like that. Because she was part mystical, part physical, part power. But so she's got her powers that she's trained. Then she's got the Dragon of the Moon fueling her on. And then let's take it up another level and let's connect the dots. If you've watched any of the Avengers movies when they brought in characters, you see they brought in the Vision,
Hmm.
and the Vision gets the Mind Stone in the MCU, which is one of the stones from Thanos' glove.
Hmm.
In the comic book, Moondragon gets the Mind Stone, which augments her powers even that much more. So she's fueled by a celestial entity. She's got the Mind Stone, which is one of the Affinity Gems, trained as, let's just call it as a power monk to peak perfection,
Yep.
and then has the ego on top of it.
What you
Where is
building
she
there?
in the MCU? Come on, guys. Come on now. Come on, son.
What you building there, people? What you building there? Powerhouse.
Right? Right? And yeah, the Mind Stone. So sometimes, and she's teamed up with other characters. So
Hmm.
they brought in the last Guardians movie, Adam Warlock. Origin a little bit different than what it is in the comic book. Of course, there's always changes. I'm not disputing one the other, just saying the character is there. At one point, she joins a team, which is Adam Warlock's Infinity Watch. So the Infinity Watch is a team that Adam put together with Moondragon, Gamora, obviously himself as leader. Drax joins the team at one point, and they all making sure that they all have one of the Infinity Gems to keep him away from Thanos and to keep him in line. That's their sole purpose, per se. A whole team to watch Thanos and keep him away from the gems so he doesn't bust a da 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 da. Right. Because a snap takes away a half of a population,
Hmm.
and the character, he, he
Yeah.
he does join the Guardians of the Galaxy at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of some of her stuff here, Rod?
I mean, it's interesting. Like, I mean, she, like you're saying, she's not only with the Guardian Galaxy, she already you see later on that she was battling with Daredevil, uh Iron Man. I mean, there's a couple of small stuff, but she's interesting. I never really read up about her prior to this, so
Right.
I'm just trying to catch up on who she is and so forth. But like you're saying, in regards to if we were to bring it to the MCU, I would like I would like that to be a good possibility because she could be now like an interim in between. Now he's saying the source of Supreme Wu, Doctor Strange, have Moondragon, and then you have uh like the Ten Rings. I really I apologize.
Oh
I
yeah,
apologize.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, for that particular other world that they were from. So you're like again, we're slowly building the mystical side of the MCU. So yeah, she would be a great addition on there because, like you say, she has ties to uh, you know certain groups already. Maybe not Drax, Drax the third. She's Drax the
Right.
first. She's connected with Drax the first, but
Yeah.
she's also has interaction with Thanos in that regard as well. So that could be a nice little flashback. Is that you can actually, you know, bring bring Thanos back in one of her flashbacks and how she got her powers, and then basically put her into that particular position. And then before she came back to Earth, all her training, everything like that was happening during the time. So when everything now is done, she now can come back to help, you know, stabilize the Earth, for any future situation, any future type of cosmic type of interaction or issues, she now could be one of those people, one of the chosen ones who's in between both worlds in that regard.
Exactly. Because all the other characters you mentioned, like Adam Warlock is there, Mantis is there, Swordsman's there, right? So we got the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then she does play into some key storylines, right?
Hmm.
She plays into the Annihilation wave. So if you for comic book fans are going to know about the Annihilation War, which is a whole invasion that could tie, I guess, in the comic books, obviously handled a certain way, and we'll probably maybe touch on that so what we read.
Hmm.
But in the MCU, I could see them using Moondragon as a focal point for this storyline to bring other teams together. And if I had to do it in an MC, excuse me, you kind of way, I would tie it in with Fantastic Four because they need to get into the negative universe, and that's a Fantastic Four tie-in right there.
Right.
Moondragon in there, okay, you can bring back in the Eternals. I know the Eternals how they perceived it the first time in the movie. Um, I liked it to a certain point, but there are certain elements I was not a fan of. I'll be honest about that. But I
Hmm.
love those characters. And I was very excited for it. So maybe we can do a soft retcon on that and bring in those Eternals, right? Because they're the space ones from Titan, from outer space, from the moon, and that's where Moondragon is supposed to be associated with. So
Right.
bringing in the Eternals, Fantastic Four, and then you bring in, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Because in that storyline, you have Star Lord that shows up. So there's a couple of guys that, guys, guys and gals, people, heroes that
Hmm.
can all come together to deal with the Annihilation Wave, and it doesn't have to be an Avengers focused movie. It
Right.
could be another spin-off of a big event, and I think
And
if you're going to do a movie, do big events, right? Guardians of the Galaxy did really well.
yes.
Endgame for Avengers did really well, and now we're gearing up for Doom War. All right, it doesn't always have to be Avengers focused, but it can be Marvel focused. And I think this is why we do the show. Sometimes I feel Marvel could go for different things and bring them in and give us the true example. Like when they did Thunderbolts and movie, the movie was good, and then they renamed it the New Avengers. Once again, that wasn't the true Thunderbolts that I remember from the movie from the comic
Right.
books. It could have been different, and having them as the New Avengers, it could have been. I would have been happier maybe with West Coast Avengers,
Fair.
right?
Fair.
Than make them the New Avengers. You still could use those characters in a different way,
Hmm.
but that's my 2 cents. So there's my whole thing with once again Moondragon, and of course Moondragon does have a relationship um with Phyla-Vell, who is the new Captain Marvel. So the two of them, yes, do have a
Hmm.
relationship together. I believe they get married, but this is also going back to Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel, how you want to look at him from Marvel Comics, that is, right? And then how he had his son Genesis and so forth. So this is another one of his kids, which does tie in to Moondragon, Drax, and the Eternals on Titan. And I keep emphasizing Titan because we have Eternals on Earth, which is Icarus, Athena, who we've also
Hmm.
seen in the movie played by Angelina Jolie.
Yep.
Those characters. So Harry Styles' character when he plays Star Fox is from the space version because with the Eternals, it was two brothers and they had a difference of ideology. And some stayed on Earth, and then half the Eternals decided to go into outer space and form their own colony. So that's Mentor, that's Thanos, that's Star Fox. So yes, Mister Snap and Star Fox are supposed to be brothers. They have the
Hmm.
same parents, even though their looks are drastically different.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my 2 cents when it comes to Moondragon. So a lot of stuff there. She's crisscrossed a lot within the Marvel universe already,
Hmm. Yeah.
and because of her power set, I think that the character is perfect for something to come on, right? And she's got that mindset. Like, she was, used already, but not as big as she could be, in my opinion. Right? Because she's, as I said, she's dealt with the Avengers. She's shown up with the Avengers, the Defenders, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just kind of going over a couple of my points here.
Hmm.
Um, and as I said, selected by Adam Warlock because she wanted to have that stone, to guard it. So there we go. And I know I'm kind of, going over some things. There's more of the character, and I think she's really good to have. And even just get into like her powers, like at peak level, she has planetary telepathy. planetary telepathy, illusion casting, telekinetic force, you know, dramatic manifestation. So she can physically transform into any superhuman, durable dragon capable of faster than light space travel and surviving the vacuum of space. Like literally, you could turn into a space dragon, fly through space, get to another planet, and say, "Yeah, I'm here. Let's go. Come at me, bro." She needs her own miniseries
Yeah.
to reintroduce a lot of fans to the power behind her, especially that we're trying to put, well, not we, but right now over the day and age, you're trying to be more diverse with characters, right? More strong female leads, diversity by racial background, and that's great. Inclusion,
Mhm.
all for it, but you don't need to make a character more than what it is. Use what you have. So to me, Moondragon was overlooked in light of maybe some other ones. I mean, everyone's like, okay, Captain Marvel, yes, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, amazing, but then you want to have another strong character. You don't have to be all the Marvels. What about Moondragon?
Right.
All right, that's my 2 cents. So we're gonna get down to casting. Unless you had another point to make there, Rod. Do you want to get down to
No, no,
casting?
no, no, no. Yes, everything sounds like you said everything. Sounding good. Sounding good. Sounding good.
I know I'm a talker. All right, then I'm sorry,
Ah,
but yeah,
this guy.
you know.
This guy. This guy.
All right, then. So if you had to see Moondragon, what would you want to see? Would you want to see Moondragon live action in a cartoon, comic book? How would you want to see this character portrayed?
I would like to see it live, and
Right?
we both are saying in the same type of vein, live MCU. So there's already a base there. Um, she's already interacted with a numerous amount of characters already from the comic books in the MCU to one degree or another, or one perspective to another. But she can easily be able to introduce, and it'll make sense. So I would like a live one, MCU. And the person I actually wanted to have would be, I would like to have Zoe Kravitz. I would
Really?
like to have Zoe Kravitz. Now,
Okay.
I'm looking at her from a couple of, definitely from the aspect of her being, an action type of actor. So she's done a couple of stuff already. I mean,
Yes.
she's been in Mad Max, Fury Road. She's been more recently and more familiarized is Selena Kyle in the Batman. So she can have the dexterity to to be flexible and just to, if you have to do any type of martial art type of interaction and fight scenes and action scenes, I can definitely see her in her skill be able to pull it off, and it's not too far out of her range. So seeing that, definitely would like to say I want to have someone who has the ability to show off that little attitude, who can be a little tough in that regard, and just kick up a little dirt in someone's eye type of scenario, and not back down. She did it with Selena. She did it with Mad Max. So it's really more on the Mad Max aspect of it. Toasted on the knowing, you got to be, you're in the, like we talked about the desert. She, her character portraying from back, in that type of realm, so she can pull that off. Um, yeah, she would have to go bald for the colony. You can do it
Yeah.
for the colony. Just
For the
so you
colony.
for the colony. So you can do it. You can do it. Uh, I'm sure you're gonna look wonderful. You'll look wonderful. Um, but yeah, I would like to nominate Zoe Kravitz for the role of Moondragon. Yes.
All right. All right.
There
I
you go.
like it. I like it. All right. I can see where you're going. I can understand your vision. I see why you're pulling from. And so it's good choice. Good choice. I'm myself going to turn around. If I had to cast Moondragon, I'm going to look for someone that's going to have a unique look.
Hmm.
Of course, we're always looking at unique looks, acting chops, what they've done in the past. This is the kind of what we look at it. So yes, just like you, Rod, I'm going to go live action. I'm going 100% live action. Bring her into the MCU, seeing the other characters are there. For someone that's going to be maybe a little bit arrogant, a little bit motherly at the same time, depending on what she's supposed to be, and then going through struggle and showing that dealing with adversity. and how they handle it with a little bit of grace. And of course, keeping that trauma underneath there. I don't think that trauma has ever been explored in a comic book fully. So I think that's going to be there. But of course, keeping her as a strong character, right?
Hmm.
It doesn't break her, it makes her. Okay. So I'm going with, I forget my pronunciation, with Phoebe uh Dynevor. Dynevor. Oh my gosh, I'm mispronouncing this poor girl's last name. Well, anyone, you all recognize her. Bridgerton season 1 and 2. She plays like one of the main person there from Bridgerton, right? So there we go. She's the one that falls in love with Jean Benet when he makes that couple where she's with the family and then she's not sure if she's pregnant. They get married and or sorry, they get married and she's pregnant, not pregnant, and going back and forth. So she's from Bridgerton. That's where she is from. That's how I came across her. Uh, so her last name Dynevor. English actress known for starring in films like Color Room, Fair Play, and lot of good stuff already. I think the most audience would know her from is Bridgerton playing that role. Yeah, I can't remember who she played at Bridgerton.
She played Daphne Bassett.
There we go. Thank you very much. So she played
There you
Daphne
go.
Bassett in Bridgerton. This is who I would see playing Moondragon. Now, when do I want to see the poor girl shave her head? I mean, obviously Moondragon is bald, so she's got to be bald at one point. Maybe cut the hair short, put on a skull cap, make it appear on bald. We got, unless she wants to really dive into the role. But if she's gonna go that far, if she shaves her head, Marvel, don't make her turn around and just show up for 30 seconds in a scene. Give her ongoing, right her as the focal point of a couple of movies. There we go. That's what I want to say. A couple of movies, focal point. I think this character could pull some things together and bring things in from a different perspective. So that is who I'm going for.
All
Awesome.
right.
Well, it brings us to an end of another episode, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Iconist podcast. Rod, any last words before we tune out?
Just make sure that you enjoy the ride. Take everybody that we suggest to you, take it in, do your own research, follow up, go to your local comic book stores, and just get that information. Start reading up on them. Believe me, you're gonna enjoy who those that we bring to you. We hope that you enjoy that we bring to you. There you go. But
Awesome. Well said. Well said. So remember, like, subscribe, and share it. Please don't let the show be a secret, everyone. Right. And let us know what you want to do. And as I said before, we have a Patreon, we got a coffee page. So, one time donation that helps, or subscribe, and we got videos on there, more on the way. And in the meantime, this whole world was started by a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming.